right, so my boy Max Holloway got the job done. You know what I'm saying? I got my blessed Holloway. And still, the undisputed UFC featherweight champion of the world, the pride of Hawaii, Max Blessed Holloway. I'm saying, I know he don't got the belt, but you know, it was a good time when he did have the belt. But in all seriousness, outstanding fight by Max Holloway. He pretty much controlled the whole fight. Arnold Allen did land a few good overhand lefts, but other than that, he really didn't do anything else. The fight was undefeated the entire time. Max controlled the pace. He was landing he was trying to condition Arnold Allen to drop his hands with all those body kicks he was landing, a couple of jabs to the body. That's why he had those few instances where he did the spinning kick up top. He tried to land some head kicks up top. But you know, Arnold Allen's a good fighter. The one thing that I was certain of though was that it was a big jump in competition for Arnold Allen, so he wasn't going to be able to get that win over Max. Obviously it's a fight, so Arnold Allen could have went out there and blitzed him and knocked him out on some random shit. But the chance of that happening was just little to none. It was very, very unlikely. For Arnold Allen to beat Dan Hooker, a guy who drained himself to go to 145, and then to not even get the win over Calvin Kattar. Although, I'll be honest, in that fight, from what I can remember, it did seem like Arnold Allen was kind of like a bit of a step ahead. But nonetheless, you don't know how a fight is going to break down over the course of 5 rounds. We saw that happen tonight. But yeah, him getting that win over Kattar, that unfortunate circumstance, and then to just get a fight versus Holloway, it was like, yeah, he's definitely not going to be able to really do nothing too crazy. So Max got the job done pretty much, and that was it with that fight. Co-main event, Edson Barbosa versus Billy Curranino. I had got that fight wrong. I thought that the pressure of Billy would have got the job done. But it's funny, I literally wrote down in my notes that there will be openings for Edson to hurt Billy. But then I said, but Billy's pressure and ability to get takedowns with cardio will melt Edson, because if you guys don't know, obviously Edson Barbosa, like, he wilts under pressure. That's the way how most of the people have beaten him. They're able to pressure him. But when I was watching tape on Billy Curranino when he fought Alex Hernandez, the exact way how he got finished, where he dipped his head, I thought that Edson Barbosa would have been able to land a head kick up there, but he ended up landing a knee. So that fight didn't really, I wasn't too upset about that. I chose the side, I was on the wrong side of it, but my analysis of the fight was correct. So I was like, okay, good. I had a correct analysis of the fight. So going forward, I'm gonna make sure that I'm just a little bit more wary of what's going on, because guys like that like to dip their head and they're just unorthodox, like, eventually you're just gonna get yourself finished. So that fight played out how I expected it to. But I just thought that the pressure would have got to Edson. I didn't think that, he would actually get the finish. I thought that, yeah, he might hurt Billy, but I thought Billy would have been tough enough to hang around. I was wrong. Azamat Murzakanov versus Dustin Jacoby. I picked Azamat to win. I didn't really get to fully watch that fight, but from the early exchanges, what I was able to see was that the problem with Dustin Jacoby, he's a great kickboxer, but he kind of suffered the same fate that happened to him in his last fight. Whenever he's fighting a guy that has power, he kind of tends to rely on pop shot and try to stay on the outside and fight safe. Power is definitely like a negation for him. Like, it negates his ability to do anything else from there, because he really tries to fight super safe, which ends up leading to the judges just giving the fight to the other guy. So I thought that Azamat would have been kind of live to get a knockout. I can take a look at what the stats was on that fight, because like I said, I did not watch that fight. So I actually do want to see what happened with that fight. So we'll take a look at the stats really quickly. And Murzakanov, so yeah, total strikes, it was in favor of Jacoby, but significant strikes, it was 3 more in favor of Murzakanov. So I could kind of see they both had 1 takedown, kind of weird. I don't know what happened with that fight. I don't know if it was a robbery. Somebody let me know. I could be wrong on that fight. The next fight was Tanner Boser versus Jan Cutelaba. And I thought Tanner Boser, he had been finished maybe once in his 10 losses. He was like 1 KO finish, or 1 KO loss, 9 decision losses. So I thought he would have been tough enough to withstand the early onslaught of Jan Cutelaba, but it didn't work out that way. Jan Cutelaba is he's just too dangerous. He's very wild. I thought the wild pressure would have just got him in a bad position, especially since Tanner Boser was dropping down from heavyweight, and most of his wins come from knockout. It's just, MMA is a crazy sport. But yeah, all in all, Cutelaba ended up getting the finish on the cage. He was in like a takedown position. He hurt Prozer. Then he went for a takedown, then had him alongside the cage where he's able to get that, the punches on the cage, and it pretty much just put Tanner out. So Cutelaba got that W. Pedro Munoz versus Chris Gutierrez. Pedro Munoz got that early knockdown, and from there the judges was able to just say, okay. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that from that point, Gutierrez did enough. Like, he did really well with the striking. He held his own. But I felt like because because Munoz dropped him and because he had got control time, they just gave him the fight because Gutierrez outstruck him in every single stat. The only thing that Pedro had in favor was a knockdown and a bit of control time. So I guess the judges was really caring about the damage, because we'll get to that fight in a second that I'm going to talk about in a minute. But yeah, the judges just care about the damage, because I thought that Gutierrez did enough to win rounds 2 and 3. But hey, it is what it is. The next fight was Rafa Garcia versus Clay Guida. This fight, I did not see the full fight, but I did see the early exchanges, and there were no takedowns, and Clay Guida was trying to bounce around, be in and out, but Rafa Garcia's boxing was a lot more tighter. He was landing a lot more cleaner shots, and if he didn't try to wrestle, it just wasn't going to go anywhere. They're both good wrestlers, so they just canceled that out. That happens sometimes. We've seen that in Kobe Covington versus Kamaru Usman fights. Sometimes the skill sets cancel each other out, and then all of a sudden you got wrestlers striking. So Rafa Garcia ended up winning that striking battle by a large margin. And then from here we go to these fights: Bill Algeo versus TJ Brown. I had Bill Algeo win. Oh yeah, and for the other fights, I had Rafa Garcia winning, obviously, and then I had Gutierrez winning, and I got stung. But yeah, for the Bill Algeo fight versus TJ Brown, I had Bill Algeo winning that fight too. He was getting hit with some clean shots early on, but he was able to withstand it and get that fight to the ground and get the submission victory. We now have a new Kobe Covington. Like, Bill Algeo is going to be Kobe Covington. If you guys haven't seen the promo he shot a promo saying Kansas City's a dump and stuff like that. I did not expect that from Bill Algeo, but hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do to get paid, and he's trying to get paid. So shout out to Bill Algeo. It is what it is. Next fight we got Raw Dog Brandon Royval versus Mateo Nicolo. That fight shocked me. I did put Brandon Royval in it, in a parlay or a fantasy lineup, because I thought he was obviously live for a finish. Mateo Nicolo got himself finished. He's a great counter striker. He kind of waited on the outside. Royval brought the pressure. Didn't get over aggressive. Saw an opportunity to throw a knee up the middle. Did exactly just that. Fight done. So that's literally how the fight played out. Raw Dog is not my new favorite flyweight fighter. It's funny because I was saying I love watching this guy fight. But I'm gonna pick Mateo Nicolo because I think the counter striking is gonna be too much for Royval. I think Royval is gonna put himself in a bad position. But he was practicing patience beforehand of the fight. So it's always a uphill battle in terms of the analysis of how these fights play out, because even if you think a fighter may come in with that same attitude, they could have been working on their a different perspective on how to come in the fights. Like, I gotta be more patient, or and they might actually execute on that. So I was on the wrong side of it. But yeah, I still love Raw Dog. But next fight was Zach Cummins versus Ed Herman, and long story short, Ed Herman's really old. Zach Cummins was old. They both ended up retiring, but Zach Cummins ended up getting that third round finish. Ed Herman was just way too slow. Way too slow. And that's all it was with that fight. Zach Cummins just being patient, landing his shots. And in the end, it just ended up being too much for Ed Herman. Then we had Jillian Robinson versus, what's her name? Pierre Rodriguez. And I'm happy that Pierre Rodriguez got... Women's MMA is so bad. It's so bad because the IQ is just... And I'm just being honest. The IQ is so poor sometimes. It's like... When I was breaking this fight down, I thought to myself, I said, okay, Jillian Robinson she's obviously clearly very dominant on the ground with grappling. Anytime she wins, she scores very high in terms of fantasy points on DraftKings. She's racking up points with control time. She's getting submission victories. She's getting takedowns. She's controlling the girls on the floor. And just recently, she just had a dominating performance versus Rose Namajunas in a grappling match. So I would think, for the love of God, that Pierre Rodriguez would have the common sense to not try to take this girl down. What does she do? Takes her down and gets reversed. takes her down and gets reversed and instantly gets control the rest of the time. I do not know. I cannot. I wish I could say why she did that. I wish I could say why she did that. I'm very, 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 very lost. How stupid can you be? You're the better striker. Stay on the outside. Force it to be a striking match. It is not worth it to try to grapple with such an insane grappler. But some people, I'm sorry, women's MMA, man. You see this frequently. You see this frequently. Clear path to victory and they do something stupid. So that fight really pissed me off because Pierre Rodriguez was one of my more surest picks. I'm like, yo, she's clearly the better striker. Yeah, she has the ability to get takedowns, but she should have the common knowledge, not to do it in this fight. And in the end, she ends up getting the arm bar. So she got what she got what she asked for. She got what she asked for. She got a nice little submission loss. She's no longer undefeated. So hopefully that loss stings her. And if she keeps going out there fighting like that, then I'm not gonna keep on, down in Pierre Rodriguez. It is what it is. Next up, we had Daniel Zohober versus Lando Vannata, and for that fight, Lando Vannata is just tough. Let's just say that he's tough. He's tough. He was in a position where he was damn near gonna get finished. It looked like Zohober was gonna punch himself out. But Vannata survived, and they were able to end up having a couple of striking exchanges. But Daniel Zohober just got the best of it. Vannata had a few moments where he landed some good strikes, but overall, Zohober it just was too much for Vannata to come back from. He would have needed to get a finish after that big flurry that Zohober put on. He's a good, decent striker. He's low volume, but he's very patient, has good boxing. I'm not too much of a fan of the way he fights. It seems like he's really slow, but I can appreciate his approach to the game. So, big win, or great win for Daniel Zohober to get his first win in the UFC. Then we had Denise Gomes versus Bruno Brazil, if I'm correct. And the difference with this fight, the one problem that taller fighters tend to have sometimes against the shorter fighters, their chin is just up in the air. And Gomes was just super, super tough. Everything she threw was with conviction to end the fight. And it's kind of like Brazil was kind of trying to just keep her away and trying to stay at range and strike like that, and it just didn't work out for her. She ended up getting cracked and finished. So that's just how that fight played out. Then we had Aaron Phillips versus Gaston Bolonas, and that fight, it was Gaston pretty much winning the striking exchanges, and he ended up getting controlled on the ground a little bit. So it wasn't too much of a convincing win, but he got the win nonetheless. Nothing much to really break down from that fight. And then we had, obviously the beginning fight to start the card off, which was one of the robberies of the century. We had Lucy Podolova versus Jocelyn Edwards. Jocelyn Edwards was winning the striking exchanges on the feet, but she was pretty much controlled on the ground for the majority of the fight. 7 minutes control time. Where Lucy Podolova really messed up is like, yo, when you get takedowns, because she got outstruck. She got total outstruck. She got significantly outstruck. She did have more head strikes, but then she got outstruck on the body, got outstruck on the legs, and she basically was just laying on top of Jocelyn Edwards. It's hilarious to see people do that because, like, how stupid can you be? If you have a full mount, why are you not trying to end the fight? You're just laying there. So she got what she deserved. She got robbed, but hey, that's what you get. Like, you want to lay it on top. You don't want to try to end the fight or cause damage or do something. You just want to lay there and not go for subs, and you get outstruck and you lose. That's your fault. That's your fault. So that's the way how the card played out, guys. I knew that this would have been a card where a lot of underdogs won, but where did I go? Well, we'll deal with that another day. I'm exhausted. Insane fight card. But guys, do me a favor. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm just trying to end this video. So drop a like, comment, subscribe. Alright? I'm the best.
What the hell was that?
I'm the blessed ever. Just deal with this cringe for now. And I'm just gonna get out of here before we get more cringy. Peace.